I saw the fight like everybody else. Those scorecards were a disgrace. Were an absolute disgrace.
Oh my gosh.
And I really feel sorry for Josh. I thought he won the fight, but those scorecards were ridiculous.
Nah, Bob.
And that's the lesson. I will never, ever allow an American fighter to come here with this British board scoring the fight. Those scores were ridiculous.
What up, what up, what up? It's your boy, back again. Marlo Knows Basketball and Marlo Knows Boxing. Back at y'all with another one. Coming to y'all this Sunday morning after another great night of boxing, man. Another great night of boxing. We saw a great back and forth fight between Jack Catterall and Josh Taylor last night. But I gotta say, man, Bob Arum is classless. That was a classless act for him to try to take away credit from Jack Catterall, who clearly won that fight last night. Clearly won that fight. I do agree that the scorecards were a little bit wide, but he's exaggerating. He's exaggerating. 117 to 111 is not that far off. I had Jack Catterall winning that fight by 2 rounds. I had him winning that fight by 2 rounds. 117, 111 is that's having Jack Catterall winning by about 3 rounds. So it's not that far off. Jack Catterall clearly won that fight. He did way more damage to Josh Taylor than Josh Taylor did to him. Yeah, Josh Taylor had his moments. He had it, like I said, it was back and forth. But Jack Catterall was counterpunching all night. He had Josh Taylor hurt on Silly Street in the 11th round. Almost knocked him out. Probably would have knocked him out if Josh Taylor didn't grab him and hold him and pull him to the ground to cause the referee to give him that break to allow him to recover. If it wasn't for that, Jack Catterall probably finishes Josh Taylor. And it's vindication. It's complete vindication from the first fight. I felt like Jack Catterall was robbed in the first fight against Josh Taylor. And in this fight, he definitely won again. Again, not as wide as the scorecards would say, but he still won the fight. He still won the fight. And well deserved. Well deserved. I mean, I know it doesn't make up for him being robbed in the first fight, because if he had Jack Catterall got the decision in their first fight, which was about, I believe, 2 years ago, he would have became undisputed champion at junior welterweight. He at that point in time, Josh Taylor had all of the belts. But still Jack Catterall put on a great performance last night, and just like he did in the first fight, and clearly won the fight. Bob Arum, like I said, is a scumbag for trying to take credit away from Jack Catterall when Jack Catterall clearly won that fight last night. But the question is now, at this point, man, I feel like Jack Catterall has closed that Josh Taylor chapter. In my eyes, he won both fights against Josh Taylor, beating Josh Taylor twice. Like I said, robbed in the first fight, was vindicated in the second fight. Jack Catterall should get a title shot, man. That's what Jack Catterall, they need to give Jack Catterall a title shot. I feel like Teofimo Lopez versus Jack Catterall should be the next fight for Jack Catterall. It should be against Teofimo Lopez. Of course, Teofimo Lopez has a fight coming up against Steve Clackett. Why is he fighting Steve Clackett? Like, we all should be asking that question. Like, why? Why is he fighting Steve Clackett? I was asking the question, why was he fighting Jermaine Ortiz? And he arguably lost to Jermaine Ortiz. But why did he even fight Jermaine Ortiz? Jermaine Ortiz lost to Lomachenko. Teofimo Lopez already beat Lomachenko. Why are you fighting Why are you fighting the leftovers of guys that you already beat? That makes no sense. And now he's fighting Steve Clackett, who has like 9 or 10 losses. Like, what is Teofimo Lopez doing? Like, you're always calling yourself the best in the world. You said you're the best 140 pounder. You and your dad always running around talking about how you the greatest fighter in the world. And let you and your dad tell it, y'all the best pound for pound fighter in boxing. But you're fighting Steve Clackett. You're fighting Steve Clackett. Come on, man. Let's get it together, Teofimo. After this BS fight against Steve Clackett, you need to get in there with Jack Catterall, a real opponent, and let's get this done, man. Let's get this done, man. Stop with these Mickey Mouse fights, man, that nobody wants to see. Nobody asks for Teofimo Lopez versus Jermaine Ortiz, and nobody definitely nobody asks for Teofimo Lopez versus Steve Clackett. Nobody wants this fight. Nobody asks for this fight. Nobody wants to see this fight. It's completely ridiculous.
Teofimo Lopez is fighting Steve Claggett, and I don't want to be disrespectful to Steve Claggett, but it's a fucking disgrace. It's a joke, absolute joke fight. It's on ESPN. I mean, it's like you talk about the Teofimo Lopez coming off a good win against Josh Taylor, says he's the best 140-pounder in the world. That's a joke fight. You know, this is the guy who should be fighting Teofimo Lopez, and we believe he'll beat him all day long. So we believe he should be world champion. That's a thing of the past, but that's the next step, the natural step to fight for a world championship.
You mentioned Teo as a potential opponent for Jack, but just overall, you didn't have a very good impression of this fight that he has coming up. What elicited that kind of response from you?
It was a terrible fight. Yeah. I mean, look, Steve Cleggett's a real tough guy. We got offered Steve Claggett for Subriel Matias, and I said he's not good enough. I can't tell you that Subriel Matias is this unbelievable talent and put him in with Steve Claggett. What's he got, like 8, 9 losses, something like that in his record? But he's also super tough, and I'm not, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but that's a terrible fight for ESPN.